for this moment, and it's always special being amongst your classmates, because even if you go on and play at the college level, this is the best time you'll ever have playing high school sports.
And here is Mikell Bryant, one of the seniors we will see in the starting lineup tonight for Kent Blums of the 20-3 Garner Trojans. You see, Mikell is almost overcome by emotion. Very special night, and again, the memories not only in this gymnasium, but in the hallways that surround us here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 20, Mikell Bryant.
And for this Garner program, both on the men's side and the women's side, such rich tradition for decades here at Garner High School. We saw just a couple of years ago the Garner women play for a state championship, lost in the finals back in 2021, and such a proud tradition here on the men's side as well for the high school players who have then moved on to star at the college level and star at the NBA level. So they're used to great successes here in Garner.
Well, and it's a program where there's pride, and if you go to elementary school, middle school here, you want to go to Garner. And special tradition. Coaches that have been here have been great people. They've had long-term stays at this school, and you can tell by this community how they come out and support, how much they appreciate their school and their programs.
I'm sure we'll bring this up during the course of the broadcast, Jay, but what is it like on senior night, either on the football field or basketball field, to block out all of the emotions, the energy, the fans, the family who are here on a very special night, and then focus for the next hour and a half to try and win a big ball game?
Well, that's the biggest thing. I mean, you are energized by this moment, but you also have to kind of channel that and know that, hey, I've got to save the energy for the fourth quarter in my game that's about to start. So you got to control it, but you also have to use it to fuel you.
Thank you for your service, Garner Magnet High School.
So there's the last ovation for these outgoing Garner Trojan seniors on the men's basketball team, the women's basketball team, the cheerleaders, and the dance team. And one last embrace right there to Tanner Mikulecki, 6'5" senior, who has had just an outstanding season academically and on the basketball court for this 20-3 Trojans team.
Yeah, he's respected, the glue of the team, and he does it on and off the floor. And he's a guy that everybody looks up to, a true leader, and they're going to miss him next year.
All right, so one last pose of pictures, jerseys, inside frames, flowers, the Garner Trojan colored balloons, the blue and gold. And then we'll have about 10 minutes on the clock for the team now to re-huddle in the hallways. The patient Bulldogs of Southeast Raleigh, they're waiting to get on the floor to get their warm-ups underway. And Charles Graves, the head coach for Southeast Raleigh, now after he was an assistant coach about 10 years, now in his second full season as the head coach. A lot of pride within this Bulldog program as well, a school that opened up a little more than 2 decades ago. But when it comes to, and we see this a lot with Garner, the alumni show out for football games, for basketball games. Same can be said for Southeast Raleigh, especially this year with Charles Graves. They have 9 alumni of this Bulldog basketball team here tonight on the road as they take on one of their biggest rivals in the league.
It's proud tradition in Southeast Raleigh and Garner. This is the 1-2 matchup here. I mean, each side has a lot going for them as far as their athletics go. And 2 longtime legendary coaches, Eddie Gray from Garner basketball is here tonight, and out in the hallway we were talking to legendary head coach John Baker for Southeast Raleigh, one of our friends, and just what this program means to him, and to support Charles Graves, who played for him, and he stays close contact with him every day talking, and he built this program. He was here in 1997 when it started, finished in 2016, and still very much here every single ball game supporting his team.
And you talk about the community from middle school to junior high here to Garner High School. You brought up Eddie Gray, and then we found out just a few months ago that Thurman Leach retiring after being the Garner football coach since 2013. Spent about 34 years in high school football. So he has now called it a career, a great legendary career. But again, the history, the tradition still runs very, very deeply. And now Deron Donald brought in from Smithfield Selma High School to overtake the football program, and Ken Blums is in his 5th year here from Garner. Those are big shoes to fill to maintain the integrity and maintain the high elevation of these programs.
Yeah, there's a big responsibility when you're a coach at one of these programs. You have that support from the previous coaches and those players, the alumni that come back. But also, too, you've got to continue that. So there is pressure, and I think each side has done an outstanding job. Ken Blums as well as Charles Graves. These two guys, friends, they built their programs up in contention year in and year out. This is going to be a great ball game, but it's good to see all those faces. You know, we talked to John Baker before, and his relationship with Charles Graves and with Eddie Gray here in Kent Blums, those two guys close friends as well. That's why this is different than college athletics, pro athletics. It's the relationships and the support that you receive.
Now let's talk about Charles Graves and his squad, because talking about the pressure of senior night, it's a little bit different feeling for John Robinson, his sophomore star player who played for Garner last year, now with Southeast Raleigh. Different sets of feelings and dynamics for him as he returns for the first time in a different uniform to a school he knows very well.
Yeah, and I mean, there's those relationships with these guys that you're going in, your old home court, now enemy territory. So that's going to be a spark tonight that we'll watch. And, you know, for Garner, they protected this home floor. And packed house, senior night, you want to send the seniors out on the right way. And the Bulldogs are going to try to spoil that.
Garner last year finished 11-3 in the Greater News. It's a tough season last year for Southeast Raleigh. Got off to a very slow start this year, starting actually 1-5. They won their opening game against Heritage and then didn't win for about 3 weeks. Won a couple of games and then lost a few more. They started 3-7. Remarkably, though, 14-10 overall, 10-3 in the Greater News. And those 3 losses came in succession about a month and a half ago to Enloe, to South Garner, and a 25-point loss against these Garner Trojans. But since then, wins over Cleveland, Corinth Holders, Clayton, Willow Spring, Fuquay Arena, and they exacted some revenge on South Garner earlier in the week, 60-47. So they're playing tremendously unselfish basketball at the right time. And really, it's just kind of a barometer for how far they've come in the last month.
They've turned it on, and the chemistry for them is what changed. I mean, they played together, physical on the defensive end and on the offensive end, very connected, moving the basketball, doing a nice job executing. And over for Garner, I mean, they're out of conference schedule, Christmas tournament, the John Wall tournament. They've tested themselves. And this is a team that is so young. Not only have they been outstanding this year, but just think the next couple of years when these sophomores, this sophomore class turns into juniors and seniors, they're going to continue the upward trajectory.
And yet Garner tonight will start 3 seniors, but in a typical starting lineup for Garner most of the year, 3 sophomores, 1 junior, 1 senior. So they're built for a potential deep run this year. They are really stacked up for the next couple of years.
And Ken Blums has done a masterful job getting this team to play together. They play so hard. He has talent, and he's got kids that really play basketball the right way because of his coaching. He's an all-star coach, and he's gotten the most out of his team.
All right, so here are the starters for Garner, sponsored by West Shore Home. West Shore Home, convert your old bathtub into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day. You see the Whitner brothers, numbers 21 and 25. Darius is just a freshman. Tyshawn is a junior. Then the 3 outgoing seniors, Makai Bryant, Mikell Simpson, and Tanner Michallucky at 6'5". So that is who the starting 5 will be, at least for the first few minutes of this senior night contest here in Garner. And now we'll take a look at the starters for Southeast, and they're led by Emmanuel McLean's 13 points a game. He is a senior, and we'll see him kind of lead the way tonight.
Well, yeah, he's an outstanding player, and for him, so talented. He plays so hard, great on the defensive end. This is really a good group of stars for Southeast Raleigh. But Emmanuel McLean, he's been a star all season.
West Shore Home, convert your old bathtub into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day. And there you see John Robinson, number 13, the Garner transfer into the Southeast Raleigh program. Sophomore year, 6 points, 4 boards, and playing very mature basketball for this Bulldog program in his first year for Southeast. Southeast 14-10 overall, 10-3 within the Greater News. And Charles Graves, there's a look at Ken Blums.
He just came up to say hey to us.
I mean, hey, we had time to kill.
Hey, maybe we'll get him on the air.
Right? It's the game plan. What's on your whiteboard? 5th-year head coach here for the Garner Trojans. Again, here placed Eddie Gray ahead of the 18-19 season, a long-time Trojan head coach. When he was with the JV program here for Garner, led the team to a school record 66 straight wins. And when Eddie Gray retired, he was kind of the odds-on favorite.
Yeah.
As he embraces with Charles Graves, the second, the Southeast Raleigh Bulldog head coach again. There's so many intersections between these programs, these communities, and these players.
Yeah, well, and both coaches are outstanding people. We talked to both of them this week. Two of the best, and they know basketball. They get the most out of their teams. But what I most admire is they truly care about these kids, and it's more than just what they can do on the court. It's during the day, it's in the classroom, it's the extra activities they do during the summer with their team. And that's why for these players, they need to really remember these special moments, because these are two great guys that truly want the best for their players, not only now but in the future.
And we had a chance to catch up with Charles Graves about a half an hour ago. Not only was so he's a Southeast Raleigh alum, very proud Bulldog alum, went on to play defensive back for the Delaware Blue Hens at the FCS level. He was a second-team All-American in 08. Had 5 interceptions, couple of fumble recoveries, but he also ran track for the Bulldogs and played obviously football and basketball for the Bulldogs. And we were out in the hallways. We were waiting on the women's game to wrap up, and he was there with again his longtime Bulldogs coaches, representatives, and former players. And they were just lined up shoulder to shoulder to shoulder in that hallway along the trophy case, waiting to get in this gym and waiting to watch this Bulldog team try and take down the conference champs tonight.
Yeah, it was just really fun to kind of get here before the game, Patrick, and talk to everybody. Talk to the defensive coordinator for Garner, Dontre Brown, new football coach, and Ken Blom's this week. I'll tell you what, he still can shoot it. He's got a great outside shot for a coach. He can drain and show his players how it's done. But Charles Graves as well. Played with Joe Flacco at Delaware, and Coach Baker and him, we talked to them about their relationship. So really special camaraderie. And Ken Blom's here, has put in so much with this program, taking the baton from Eddie Gray. Very proud for what he's built here, and again, for such a young team, 20-3. The job he has done has been amazing, and this is a program now. You look at where they're at with their youth. Deep playoff run. I mean, the potential is unlimited with him at the helm.
And this Garner team has won 5 in a row, really have not been tested a whole lot in the last couple of months. They're capable of putting up some big offensive numbers. Tripped up by Fuquay Varina about 3 weeks ago, but that's been about it for Garner. I mean, you go back and look, a loss to Millbrook in the first month of the season. Millbrook, again, is one of the best teams around in the state of North Carolina. The loss to Don Bosco Prep, the juggernaut from New Jersey. That was around the Christmas holiday, and then the Fuquay Varina loss a couple of weeks ago. Outside of that, Garner's been in control, in command, and nobody really knows how deep this Garner team can run. A lot of it might depend on the brackets and the draw and what the path looks like to make a deep run. And again, they may be looking a year or two down the road, but the seniors can't. The seniors have to look at it right now if you're Tanner, Mikell and the others.
So the future is now, and the interesting aspect of tonight's ball game is Charles Graves, he's the director of Garner Road basketball. They have outstanding AAU program, one of the best in the country. Well, there's many players for Garner that play in that program, and Ken Blom's knows all the Southeast Raleigh players. Charles Graves knows all the Garner players. So, out on the floor, these are friends, even if they're on the opponent's side, and they know their tendencies. So it's not going to be any trick matchups tonight. They're going to know the personnel on the floor. Is just going to be about who can execute better.
And we hear this from coaches a lot when they're going against players either that used to play for them, or if there's again that kind of crossover of summer basketball. Charles Graves said, we know all the tendencies, all the ways that these guys like to play. We hope they do well because they're going to be playing again for me probably over the summertime. We just are kind of tongue-in-cheek, hoping they don't play all that well tonight against us. So the starting lineups are being introduced. Southeast Raleigh in the deep blue uniforms. And now the music on senior night for the last time for the 3 seniors here inside Garner High School Gymnasium. Tanner Mikell, Mikell Simpson, Mikell Bryant.
Senior number 3,
Just trying to contain the emotions.
Senior number 15, Mikell Simpson.
It's a real selfie.
That's amazing.
Number 20, Mikell Bryant.
Do that in the NFL, it's a 15-yard penalty.
That's one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, do it here in Garner, it's a lifetime memory. So the three seniors announced first. And now the Whitner brothers, Tayshawn and Darius. There's Darius, the 6-foot freshman. Well, you want a great atmosphere on the final high school hoops Friday night of the regular season. This is it. No better place to be than here in Garner tonight. Southeast 10-3 in league play. Garner 12-1. And Jay, let's kind of quickly review your keys to victory for both the Bulldogs and the Trojans tonight.
Well, Garner's going to play up tempo. They're going to shoot the three. They're going to be up and down the floor. For Southeast Raleigh, can you slow that pace down? And can you win on the boards and make it difficult for Garner? So much anticipation for this game. Can you be the spoiler? That's going to be the question.
All right, who can contain the emotions? Garner and the home whites. And the officials give the thumbs up to each other. We are ready for basketball. We thank you for your patience tonight. And here we go. Regular season finale in the Greater Deuce. Garner and white, the regular season champs. Southeast Raleigh in the deep navy, finishing a runner-up. And Garner turns it over on the first possession, and here come the Bulldogs. And this is Josh Alford, number 1. And Garner's going to open up in a man-to-man. Off balance, little runner in the lane is missed by Robinson, the former Trojan. And the rebound cleared away by Garner.
And Garner's going to spread the floor. 4 out. They want to have clear lanes. Second turnover early on.
And the Bulldogs back down the floor. Again, they got bombed by Garner by 25 points in the first meeting. Stoppage in play as a stool somehow fell over onto the court of play on the Garner bench. The officials saw that and will stare into the bench saying, how'd that happen?
Flying object.
So there will be no technical assessed. Just a quizzical look. And the Bulldogs will throw in. That's the first stool delay I've ever seen in high school basketball. And now is Southeast being sent to the bench? Are they going to clean up the floor here? What's the issue here? The officials are getting together. Oh, correct. There's an official timeout. So not only did the stool fall over and stop play, but one of the 3 officials ran out of the gym, maybe feeling a little bit under the weather. He's now returned, and he'll get an assessment to his to official mates. Now, these are the same 3 officials that worked the women's game that just ended.